Hello everybody, welcome to another little analysis video, some interesting little plays that I caught during Overwatch League Stage 2. Again, we're going to be visiting New York versus Boston, and today I wanted to kind of break down and conceptualize New York's interesting and what I perceive as purposeful use of a supportive Nano Boost. Now, yes, of course, Nano Boost is a support ability. Why wouldn't it be supportive? It's not necessarily the adjective here, but it's more of the placement of Nano Boost on another support, right? Now, some of these clips are a little bit messy, but I do believe the consistency of it leads me to believe that New York wants to Nano Boost Jonak on Zenyatta, and that's one of their targets that they favor, right? And I don't necessarily think it's too crazy. Now, in the title of the video, I've called this ramp or acceleration, right? The idea or the concept comes from the card game Magic the Gathering, where your kind of deck of 60 semi cards is about accelerating your economy and outpacing your opponent with just the amount of sheer resources that you have at your disposal. You can play cards all day because you have a lot of resources, right? And that's the same thing here that they're trying to do with the Nano Boost and the Jonak, right? The concept is that you give Nano Boost to a support the same way you might give it to a Winston, right? So the Winston dives in, he gets Nano Boosted. Not only is he doing more damage to more targets, he's taking less damage. When you do more damage, you get ult charge. A great ultimate to have at your disposal is Primal Rage. It's aggressive, it's defensive, it can stall points, it's very versatile, it's very nice to have, right? Probably some of the best ultimates in the game right now are support ultimates, right? So if you can Nano Boost your Zenyatta, who is incredibly accurate, A, Jonak also is incredibly accurate, B, he's going to take less damage, which makes him not the best dive target in the world, you know? Nano Boost, again, amplifies damage, and it reduces damage taken. So that not only makes him a poor dive target, it makes him more apt to getting picks. It makes him more accessible to get ult charge because he's dealing more damage, like I said. And conceptually, it's something that I've been kind of interested in a long time. But we haven't had a Zenyatta at the caliber, I think, of Jonak or maybe even Bidosin right now, right? Where these players are popping off consistently. They take headshots. They duel enemy flankers. They're just insane damage output threats for their teams. Now, again, I have to caveat this with some of the examples that I'm going to pull from this match are not indicative of the plan that I've set forth, but it happens enough in this game that it led me to believe this is evidence that maybe New York wants to toy around with this, right? I think they have the right pieces to toy around with this, so why not? So here, in this clip, we're going to see a little bit of a miscommunication. Arc wants to Nano Boost Jonak. Jonak also wants to ult. Unfortunately, they both do it at the same time, and it results in a Nano Boosted Transcendence. It's not the best example in the world, but it serves as a potential kind of concept here, right? A great example of this. Let's kind of take this position into account here, right? So Jonak's on the high ground. He has all of this. Think of Jonak as like a Soldier 76 in this situation. He has all of these angles to attack from. Incredibly potent. I mean, like, so you can attack the high ground from here. Or not, I'm sorry, the low ground from here. The high ground on Hanamura B is the keystone. You need to capture this to kind of win the map, it feels like. Very rarely are you just going to brute force the point and just kind of out-aim your opponents. It's about forcing them off the high ground up here and then swinging down and kind of taking this little spot, right? This little perch. From that perch, your soldier and your Zenyatta have free reign to do whatever they want here. And depending on where they lean, whether they lean left or right, or they lean left, they can pressure spawn doors and the reinforcements coming out of them. close your eyes and open them and picture Jonak's now nano boosted. So now you have somebody that's pressuring from a very safe position. If they do get dove, they're, the defending team here is just giving up the point, which means that they're diving onto a Zenyatta who's also nano boosted and also loves to take duels. Like it's not a very good scenario for Boston here if Jonak was to be nano boosted. Unfortunately, he isn't, but I feel like the concept still stands, and we'll jump into the next clip right now. So here we're kind of viewing through, again, Boston's eyes. This is the Boston attack round into New York's defense, and we're jumping in kind of mid-fight here. So Boston has captured the high ground. They're now forfeiting the high ground to better reinforce the point. They have point control here. It's not looking good for New York. Mono's taking damage. Libero's forced to swap to Doomfist to kind of help reinforce and maybe even stagger a little bit harder. The interesting thing is, Arc is going to build Ultimate here shortly. What he does with it is he puts it on Jonak, like we've been mentioning, right? So he's trying to ramp into a Transcendence. While also trying to ramp into Transcendence, you kind of get some residuals there. You get less damage on your Zenyatta. You get more damage coming out of your Zenyatta. It could be viewed as a very kind of a desperation move. Hopefully, Jonak gets a pick, but I don't necessarily think that's true, because why wouldn't you nano boost Mako, right? He has armor, which means that it's an extra little bit of damage resistance. It's more health that you're damage resisting. I don't necessarily think it's completely a desperation nano boost here, that they're just trying to get ultimates out to try and win this last fight so they can, stagger the point longer and maybe draw a little bit more out of the time bank, or perhaps just, defend the map. But like I said, he's going to nano boost Jonak here. The second he builds his ult, boom, nano boost onto Jonak. It's a little bit hard to see, but here comes Jonak right here. You can see him there. He's peeking out. He's all glowy. And if you look at his positioning, he's very safe here. Gamsu's kind of zoning him out, but Jonak is a absolute duelist and warrior, and he's going to take the duel with him and win. Again, the idea here is that Jonak is going to take duels. He's going to win them like he normally does, but this time it happens to be that he's nano boosted as well. So if we play it out just a little bit, we don't really get to see exactly what he does, but he doesn't really need to take the duel, but you kind of see the concept here, right? You nano boost your support. I think this could be even applicable to a Lucio as well. Somebody like Neptuno, for instance, he's skating around, getting a lot of frags. What happens if we nano boost him and he becomes more of an offensive threat, while also building into the sound barrier even faster, which throws the enemy offensive players, their flankers, their DPS. It throws their kind of tempo of exactly how the resource mini game is being kind of feeled out, right? Because the DPS can't get a grasp of exactly where the kind of resource economy of the defenders is shaping out. So if you have more sound barriers, you have more transcendences, hell, if you even have more Valkyries, right, you're going to be more sustainable, you're going to be more defensible, and you're going to throw the enemy DPS off kilter with the kind of chaotic resource nature that you're throwing at them, right? It's a little bit of a reach. I understand that, but bear with me. It's a concept. I think it's kind of interesting, and I hope that maybe you thought it was interesting as well. So until next time, thanks again, guys, for sticking around watching, and I'll see you in the next video.